Hello, SpeedGaming. It's mentor tournament time. Today we have a medium lower bracket race between Homewrecker and Kalemega. This should be a good one, as always. This is mentor tournament. That means each of the racers are going to bring along a mentor who's going to help with routing decisions, planning, and emergency strats. All those kinds of things. Soha with Kalemega and Tickles with Homewrecker. New addition to the Mentor Discord server. Tickles joining like 10 minutes ago. Looks like we're off. We'll get it all synced up as per the usual. And we get a clown sprite. Homewrecker's clowning. Kalemega dreading. Ice Beam. Ice Beam's cool. I'm going to click the Ice Beam first, but then I'll click the Synchronize Times button. It's almost exactly 1 second. So easy. So, when you see Ice Beam, this is one of the few things that really stand out as used for ice. And that's climbing Red Tower. From bottom to mid, and also from mid to top. We have Ridley located. That is an important piece of information. And just as important in the early game is knowing what the runners need to kill Ridley at the end of the seed. When you watch a weekly restream, such as the expert restream going on SpeedGaming 5 right now, they're not going to need like that many requirements for a Ridley fight. It'd be like the bare minimum is what you'd expect to see there. But in a mentor tournament race, we are playing medium normal settings. There it is. And you can expect the runners to pick up extra miners. So usually it's another like 4 E-tanks. And maybe you'll see full beam combo plus the 30 supers. Just go both ways with your endgame weaponry. But we're expecting a little bit extra collection. Not that perfect movement or anything. Homewrecker not doing the damage boost across the Alpha Power Bombs room, for example. It's faster if you do that. It loses more health than you'd think. Something like 16 health each way. And sometimes that health matters. Cool. So this is purely for scouting, because you absolutely want supers and screw attack on Kalemega's side. Very interesting play. I don't know if this is Soha's idea or Kale's. I think you want to rush this and not worry about the key hunters. You have to go down unless you're scouting for the item information specifically, but that's not super relevant. And it's top of bowling. Very interesting play. So if you make a play like that, then you are sacrificing the time to make that check. You know that you're going to be reverting, and you're hoping that it pays off to have the knowledge. A lot of the time it doesn't. Parlor is a good use for screw attack. We're sort of following supers because screw attack led to supers, but it's very likely, common, and possible that there's another major on the same step as supers. We're getting a lot of doors on Kale's side. I like to think of supers as putting Fireflies in logic here, but the requirements are going to be a little bit higher in medium. Oops. Homewrecker bopped in the head. Instant death to those hoppers. And that's why there's a caution door on the hoppers. But I think you go through that since you have the save right there. Kale almost taking death to the boulder. There's logic on using ice on the head enemies, using supers on everything. Okay, let's see how well Kale can do this. Gonna get the information at least. That's a morph ball. With morph ball there, we might see more attempts to get it. But I don't think it's logical. Running on the spikes with iframes, such as from taking a firefly hit, is in hard logic. Using the ice beam to not take any damage is in very hard. So I think we either need a tank, maybe 2 tanks, and or possibly a space jump in order to get that morph ball. There was a pink door to the left of, the bottom left of the firefly room. So that could still be a thing. They have enough items to get down through fireflies, past all the boulders and fireballs. And that's because Screw Attack, Ice Beam, and Supers can all do that. But Supers were recently taken out of logic. This is the Torian Hopper room that they're both standing next to. And if you just run about 5 tiles, which is approximately where homewrecker is right now, and then aim down, looks like he's doing it. So Tickles is telling him how to do it. Without Speed Booster, you can run farther than that, and it's fine, so you don't have to do any kind of lineup. But I think homewrecker's going to keep running through here. But the problem is getting back, even with Screw Attack, is kind of hard. Jumping through. Jumping through is in very hard. So in very hard, you would do a very precise set of movements to get through the room with Screw Attack. Otherwise, you need enough run speed to jump all the way over the gap, which would be Speed Booster or a Space Jump. The easiest way is absolutely to do the run in and aim down. That time he didn't continue running right away. And got hit. Oh, there's a wave beam. We found a little progression in Terminator. I'm pretty sure that's not in logic, this wave beam. Oh, also I'm gonna unmark that. Because they're doing the revert trick again. And you can't give up Screw Attack and Supers. But information is especially powerful if the alternative is repeatedly dying here. Business Center. But the trick that homewrecker's doing with the Torian Hoppers, it's really easy to do and definitely worth learning. You don't have to do a lineup as long as you turn Speed Booster off. It's just that in this case, getting back would be hard. Yeah. We've seen Morph Ball. It is in Lord Narfer Firefly's room. It's just that is not logical to get. And it seems like Kalemega isn't comfortable getting it either. Power bombs. I think Kale was alive. There's enough time to open the door and get out with 1 or 2 health. I can be a little bit more careful. Okay. So there is an orange door here. They need Morph Ball and Power Bombs to open orange doors. Normally that's the Morph Ball requirement isn't something that you think too hard about. But that is the item we do not have. Looks like Kale's going back down. There's a Fantoon save here. The fireballs do 60 damage. Panic. The boulders do 40, so if you add them together, one fireball, one boulder is a death. The old logic wanted you to use supers to kill everything in your way. But most runners don't want to do that. They'd rather hoard their super count. The greedy little speedrunners. But there are safer ways to play this section that Kale's going through. You can super the boulder even. Maybe Soha mentioned how to do that. Yeah, you can screw attack through everything, you can freeze the heads. Going for Morph Ball. I don't know if that's the best option compared to peeking the left door. Yeah, it jumped a little too early. I mentioned earlier that freezing the fire fleas to avoid all damage isn't very hard. You have to control it really well, and then also platform it. It's pretty good. You gotta understand how to keep the fire fleas on camera only when they need to be on camera. Things like that. But we're off to a pretty slow start here. I'd like to see Kale check the left door. When you die, you keep the map information. That's a special feature of Map Rando. But you do not keep any items. If you're coming from Link to the Past, that lets you keep items. But I think you have to save and continue to do that. You can continue without saving, then you lose your items. Unfortunately, Kale keeps hitting the spikes. In hard, it would be... Okay, that looks good. And then you want to freeze the fire flea here if you can. Oh, against the wall jump. That's even better. Now we're going to check this left door. Oh, that's a farm. Oh. The little slimes do 60 damage, so you could die doing that. That's interesting. It's the lower part of Oasis. They've already seen the top part. I still think they should keep going left. Going through water rooms is like thought of as a medium tech, but a water room such as that would be in basic. And homewrecker is continuing all the way back to the start. Kale did some resets to get this information, but homewrecker is running it back to get the same information. Can't do anything here. We'll get a refresher on what's down here. There's a major in the wall, but again, you need Morph Ball for that. And Kale makes it out with Morph Ball. So gonna be in a really good position now. Right, top of bowling. You can't even check what this item is. If they took a save before coming down, you can just revert back to the top. And that's almost just as good as like reverting back to your spawn and running right. There are doors that homewrecker has not gone into. Kel doesn't have power bombs. Right. He died in the power bomb room, and I think it was possible to get out. but took the reset. And now has to go collect them again. In Super Metroid, when you die, you lose all of your progress up to the last save that you took. So you're going to be seeing a lot more safety saves in Super Metroid. Even when we're doing like speedruns on Restream, it's not unheard of to take safety saves. Because if you take a game over, you lose everything. It's only where Map Rando lets you keep the map tiles on a death. It's patched so that it writes it to all of your save files when you explore a tile. And that's thought of as like the player knows what's in that map tile. And so that carries on. But it's just really nice quality of life that's been added. Watch out! So, you can think of that hit as saving time. What homewrecker's doing is out of logic. Because climbing back up through Halfy Climb Room, which is connected to Terminator, is in hard logic. And that's either with the gravity jump through the door, or by freezing the Metroid. So I'm not expecting the answer to be over here. There could be goodies over here. Like an E-tank's pretty likely. It wouldn't be the filler E-tank, but we also haven't seen any filler items. This is really hard to do on zero tanks. It's completely possible. You just need to run forward. If you can kill the seahorse, then you get the small energy drop. Or in this case, it would probably be a power bomb drop. But you can just make it. Where will they go next? Kale hasn't even been inside the Torian hopper door. Like maybe deduce what's over there? Put their mentor-mentee brains together. Maybe we can check it right now. Most of the doors you want to jump through because they're over crumble blocks. But this one is one of the rare ones that is not over crumble blocks, at least into enemies. So wave beam is good to have. It adds meaningful beam damage. Ice beam does not add meaningful beam damage. It increases the number of hits it takes to kill enemies. But wave is a good beam. And then logically for medium, it puts gate glitches in logic. By letting you just shoot the beam through instead. Gate glitching is a common trick, but it's not going to be in logic in medium. Big Pink is a nice find. It has 3 items. We are low on filler items, so there should be a E-tank over here. Vanilla Church. How nice. And then one more item up top. But once they get an E-tank, it'll be a lot nicer exploring around. So if this jump homewrecker's doing is out of logic. No. You do not get any filler items. Only majors. Okay, homewrecker in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I'm just gonna take the reset. So there's two ways up in hard logic. You can either jump through the door with a gravity jump. You have to do it very late. I should read the map. Hold on. I'm surprised they didn't take power bombs directly to the right of spawn major. The X and O look really good. I think they should do that first. And then go down, get the other two majors. Probably go to M or something. Yeah, so homewrecker, I think it's trying to do the gravity jump. That's probably what Tickles is saying too. There it is. Yeah. So you just have to jump like as late as you can. And with all that runway, it's not too hard of a jump. With a smaller runway, it becomes a very hard strat. But there's no cross-room jumps into water in medium. And then also, the other way up was to freeze Metroids and climb them that way. But that's also in hard. Could have done it though. Gets out with wave beam. Kalemega has high jump, and that doesn't make the escape from Terminator any easier. Oh, we're getting the Eddy set up. So you do a full height jump, rub against the ledge, and then you hold L and R so that you cannot move. You do an aim up instead. And then you want to turn around while also holding L and R. Kale actually released it early. And that puts you in a good position to shoot the super every time. And that's really good for custom sprites. Even though I'm still using a Samus sprite. Maybe everyone will just learn that way, since it works for custom sprites. We're getting a nice clip. You gotta shoot up, pretty much. That looks good. That looked approximately right. I'm not gonna say it's good, because you never know with ice clips. I would teach everyone to use the 2 BTOM setup. But it's something you gotta think about. You can't just like know it. Like just freezing the guy in the right spot is something that you can just do without knowing anything. And at this level, the runners have to allocate their time efficiently to learn all the room strats in the entire game. They can't focus on one particular setup that's not even in logic. You don't want to morph before you land on the BTOM or you fall through. You get pushed by getting bigger. It pushes you through the enemy. The enemy is more malleable than the solid crumble block. Okay, homewrecker taking hit damage. Just kill him, please. 1 energy short of surviving 2 spike hits. Okay, that's 1 spike hit. Can take another spike hit. I like to fall on this Firefly. Good, good, we're good. Okay, it just needs to get out. So I said before that you want to try to freeze the Firefly if you can. Otherwise, it's a pretty hard wall jump, especially in the dark. Even if you're really experienced at this, it's a hard wall jump. But one tip to that is that if you release jump, after you reach your full height, you start falling, you release jump, then your hitbox gets smaller, and it makes it so you can just land on the Ridley Claw. But unfortunately, homewrecker taking the death. Could not survive in the dark. But before you get like incredibly comfortable with this room, you want to try to keep as many fire fleas alive as you can so you can see better. Usually you can kill 3. If you kill more than 3, then it gets dark. That's a spike kit. Trying to play around screw attack. The screw attack is going to kill the fireflies. It's better at running on the spikes than Kale was. That was a spin break. That's something you're going to see a lot of in medium too. Oh, nice freeze though. Perfect. Unfortunately, health is still kind of low. So if we can go through the left door. I mean, all the enemies in the room might be dead already, so maybe going up would have been fine. But randomly breaking spin is something that improves just the more time you spend playing the game, as you get more used to the controller. Or move away your cheap bag controller for something real. Okay. Kale has a gravity suit. I didn't mention it, but that was the item to the right of spawn. Homewrecker is aware that there is a major over there. So that stands out as something that you want to do, since it is known knowledge. And that tends to be better than unknown knowledge. I forget what else happened in Brinstar or Torian, where all these other majors were. But charge, spazer, high jump. Homewrecker's gonna want it to have all those too. Yep. I guess I still don't know what Logic wanted. I wonder where this E-tank was. Uh-oh. The acid hurts. Yeah, Kale is just stuck between heat rooms. Is that a bad revert? Hold on. We don't have any E-tanks. An E-tank right there. I don't think any of the majors are lost. Because he got gravity before wave, and then wave is just to the right of the save. Homewrecker fell into the crumble trap. You have to run it back instead of try and do the ice clip. That trap has caught many runners. Today is no different. There's a lava dive left. That item up top. Can't get it, and also is a GT fight on the way back. But the requirements for that top major are something to think about. There's Croc Escape, which needs another movement item, and then Gold Chorizo on the way out. Gold Chorizo can technically be in Logic, in Medium, as long as you have a whole lot of E-tanks and full beam. I don't think it's too likely that the super fight would be in logic, but maybe. The damage from supers being thrown at you doesn't scale that fast. It's just the heat damage that scales. Because the expected fight in medium would be that you just stand there and shoot supers towards them. If you're above medium, then you can just stand close enough in the safe spot and avoid it. That looks a lot like the right super's Phantoon locked major. It's always hard to know. Assembly line robots always look so similar. Okay, so it's time for homewrecker to play to maps. Where does this T go? I wanted to know. Wow. The Fireflies connects directly to the gravity suit. Homewrecker could scout the major at bowling, but I don't really expect him to be like, super great with jump morphs. Oh, this is interesting. We're getting a Kago to scout this item. So Kago, you need to use uninterruptible frames to morph. And that'll let you fall through the enemy. There it is. Grapple. Good info. The save is right here. But still, it's a trip to come down at all. If you identify the room ahead of time, then you wouldn't run down. Yeah, good info. Once you have gravity, you tend to not need grapple for anything. Just pants room. Just watching homewrecker just toggle weapons, trying to decide which was the perfect one when both are correct. Maybe running into menuing problems, not having missiles. So that's a mock ball, but also you do that. You're supposed to take the one way through jail here. Get the 2 X's, and then you go up through Spore Spawn. So left side of North Fair is logical. I just didn't see if there's anything worth doing. We're getting a lot of pauses and looks at the map, but I'm not seeing any majors. But even all the minors are pretty nice. It would just be slow. So it's more like, is there a reason to want the minors right now? The minors would be better than a snail clip, unless Kale is like practiced at snail clip. I tried to teach a mentee how to snail clip in one of these races. See a snail. And it ended up just being a waste of time. Exploded that snail. Ah, you can actually go left path. Yeah, a lot of heat-locked E-tanks over here. This is a seed where maybe you could like play really well, get some out-of-logic E-tanks, and then do everything in Torian. But I don't think Kale got the X-ray E-tank in Torian, the one that's right below GT. That's one I wanted them to pick up, as well as the Modex. Because E-tanks are really valuable. Oh yeah, Spazer. Memory-based tracking. So there's Ridley here, there's GT. I think we saw Kraid over in Norfair. before spawn. The landmarks of the map. Oh, this crate here. It's a Dragon in Warfare. Speedlock Major in bowling. I guess they don't see anything that stands out as a good play. I kind of like collecting more miners right now. We're heading back to Big Pink. You get another shot at that hollow and X. The hollows are the E-tanks and reserve tanks. The X's are supers and power bombs. Single dots are missiles, and the solid dots are majors. And majors are everything on the tracker. The unique items. So when you're looking at a map, most of the time it's the majors that you want to rush towards. If you don't have a map, you rush map. If you do have a map, you rush majors. And then if it's convenient, you get E-tanks and X's. And then no one cares about missiles. Unless you're about to fight Pantoon or participating in the Ammo Balance Tournament, which had another qualifier today and a final qualifier tomorrow. You can tune into that and see what that's all about. But Ammo Balance Tournament starting up. It improves the value of missiles. Powerbomb find. With screw attack, powerbombs aren't super great. And once you get 10 with your screw attack, they become a junk item. Unless you're participating in the Ammo Balance Tournament. Then they would also give a super. Yeah, Kale really doesn't seem to know what to do. I think these aren't pauses to correct your route as you go from room to room. I don't know. They've looked at the map a long time. It's possible to get the C-tank and then do proc escape on high jump plus ice with 3 tanks. Get the major that's up at Mama Turtle. Come back down key stairs. But I think you would get the tanks over there and then go to Lava Dive. So if this were a high level race, then maybe you'd see something crazy like that. Fortunately, you'd leave behind the GT fight. Oh, there's B. There's the other entrance to N. Is Kale clipped into the shutter? No. Just not doing anything. Okay, hopefully breaks the block with screw attack. As you play and practice the rooms, you remember better all of the ways to save a single power bomb. Being on 0 power bombs is kind of bad. But the X over here is power bombs. So I think we're going to get a long farm session and then just get bailed out after. Since there's a power bomb door in Moat Room. These bugs do not have a good chance of dropping power bombs. Okay, just going for it. There. Even so, you're not happy to see power bombs. And that's the challenge of deciding the race preset. Like, how many power bombs do you need to put in a seed? Since once you get 5 plus screw attack or just 10 power bombs, then you've enough that you don't need anymore. Except crystal flashes are also interesting. Shouldn't make that impossible. Okay, aqueduct. We've seen aqueduct from the other side already. From Kalemega's side. We haven't gotten new information in a bit. Ready for the new stuff. Kale did pick up the E-tank that I wanted them both sides to get. So that's good. Once you have 3 tanks, then you can do most things. If you need more than 3, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. Unless it's in your game plan to sequence break. It makes more sense checking grapple, seeing how far away from everything it is. At the same time, it'd be awful mean of the seed for logic to be kill Fantoon wherever it is, and then get grapple to do Croc Escape. Fantoon's in Brinstar. Right. Yeah. One nice thing about Sleepy Robot is you have to intentionally soft lock yourself. You're not going to accidentally get stuck here. Tickles, why are you leading Homewrecker into this? Tickles, what has he done to you? No. There's the revert. All the way to the top of Torian. I imagine they didn't want any of the items in Norfair. You might be able to do 3 Musketeers here, from where Homewrecker is. With Gravity Suit, you can very likely reach the E-Tank. Like the item in 3 Musketeers room. And then with Screw Attack, you can easily enough continue upwards. And then High Jump, you're not going to mess up your jumps. And then there's another E-Tank right at the top of that. And then once you have 4 tanks, you can Lava Dive. I just don't believe that you can get back from Lava Dive. That's a death. Meridia. Why haven't we seen more Meridia? At this point, we have 2 and 3 E-Tanks. That means you can do the single room hell runs. Right, 2 of them in a row. Logic can always say, go to Norfair and collect all these miners. There's some protection against that in Logic. It says you have to leave 25% of items behind. It's like never collected. So that means when you get to 3 tanks, then it assumes that 1 wasn't gettable. And that's something worth knowing in hard tricky seeds for gate glitches. Because you actually need 4 ammo to gate glitch, even though it expects 15 tries. Yeah, that's a change that was added. So C wouldn't make you just collect every piece of ammo no matter where it was in the world. Unless you're playing the slower settings. Technical, challenge, and desolate. This is the Fantoon fight. Fantoon is required. In Chozos. Bowling Chozo is a Chozo, and to beat Chozo's objectives, you need the Bowling Chozo unlocked by powering on the Chozo bowling room, so that you can ride the Bowling Chozo down to the Gravity Chozo, who does not count as a Chozo, for it's only a missile. Kalemega ran out of missiles, and then accidentally, I presume, shot a super. But I cannot track this Phantoon kill. Their narrative of kill Phantoon, collect grapple, and then come back is alive. This Phantoon might not be on logic. I sort of expect it's not with these items, but who knows. A Wave Beam is probably put in logic by gravity, so maybe that's the real logic. Gravity to wave to wherever this is in criteria. But now we're getting new information. Maybe even a map on both sides. Wrecker being real safe. Would almost think he was farming for supers. Oh, look at that major. Why didn't we check that? There's just a major right there. What was that? Screw attack, I think. Yeah, the wall behind screw attack was just another major. Yeah, because you need Phantoon killed, you can't revert this Brindstar map. It looks like it's not actually much heat. Homewrecker's gonna die. I was hoping that you'd make it to the map. It didn't. Just not able to pull off the wall jumps. You don't have much space to move around in the Ice Beam Snake room. You want to try to do a buffered turnaround? You can. Bombs. Yeah, I haven't confirmed that I know what the logic is for reaching Morph Ball yet. I think you need an E-Tank to reach it, but not the E-Tank that they got. So I'm not sure. Something I really wanted to see... Oh yeah, to the left of the Firefly room was the Gravity Suit room. The room that had Gravity Suit. So, maybe I just don't know. How'd I get pinged? Plasma. That's a good one. Watch out, Kale. This could be a heated room. Blah. Homewrecker showed us that it was the top door of Croc Speedway that connects to the map. But there is heat on the way to the map that way down. Oh, here we go. Homewrecker has enough energy to get out too, so this is nice. There's plasma there, another major below. Kale made it into wrecked ship. That looks like speed lock on the left. And that's bomb Chorizo on the right. It takes about a tank and a half to run down Speed Hall. But with bomb Chorizo being over there, you can farm up some energy. That criteria map's pretty nice. I imagine Kale stays in Wreck Ship. I'm probably going to wait for Speed Booster before going to bowling to cash in that objective. We're getting a nice clip. This is in medium. The runners all seem like to be having a fine time with the ice clip. But it's something that I think of as harder than a medium level trick. It's kind of your introduction to ice clips. It sets itself up positionally. And that's usually why most ice clips fail. Okay. Space jump is nice. Oh no! No! Get the BT kill. Thank you, Tickles. Tickles keeping homewrecker on the right path. Yep. Mentor is going to be giving routing advice to the runners. Going to inform them on how much energy you lose running down Speed Hall. Because Tickles is very experienced at this point in map Rando. Homewrecker is full on missiles, so going to get all health drops. Almost all health drops. Has enough time to get the missile pack here, but doesn't. That is an objective I can mark. Can get out fine. And then has space jump for Coliseum. Ooh. So Kel trying to jump up the left wall here. It is in medium to do this climb. You have to run under the left platform enemy thing. I don't know how he survived that, but it was good that he did. Getting to the map. Weaving around the fireball. Nothing. Okay then. Wasn't there something else? No, that was it for criteria. Now, homewrecker has fewer E-tanks, so this is all gonna be a little harder. I don't know that they want to push for the farm room. With ice on, you would have to pause abuse. Looks like they're farming first. But if they do go into wreck ship, it'll be mostly a waste of time. And a bunch of heat rooms. Have to do an ice trick. Ah! Sometimes screw attack lets you down. Oh, able to moonfall though. Moonfall's in very hard. This is single tile wall jumps with very delayed wall jumps. So interesting to say that. Oh no! I just need to jump down and screw attack. Would have fallen faster and made it all the way down. Either that or land on the platforms. That's something about writing logic for medium and like the lower difficulties. We can't assume that the runners know the layout of the rooms. Don't know where the pirates are. So we have to... Oh, that was a bad reset. Ugh. That's why you need more E-tanks. Yep. Feed your mentees more E-tanks, mentors. Both sides reverting out of Norfair too fast, I say. Coliseum. Yeah, just remember some logic here on Coliseum. Being able to jump out of the sand on that one overhang jump near the end. It requires high jump and gravity in medium now. That was a recent change. So now, Kale. I can get the area map. Get the map. Gonna find out to come all the way back. Collect space jump and BT objective. And then I guess we'll see what happens next. Because Kale's the ones that done Meridia. Major-wise, we have Speed, Varia, Spring Ball, Grapple X-Ray, not Grapple. So Speed, Varia, Spring Ball, X-Ray. And there's 2 majors in Torian. So, could go for those. It continues to look like a pick up all the E-tank seed. I think there's a speed lock on the left side. But it's hard to tell. I think it's Frog Speedway. Really the only room you can confuse it with is Thread the Needle. But that one has water under it. This is interesting. Homewrecker not going into wreck ship. Okay, yeah. Now going into wreck ship. Just wanted to save first. Get some more health refills. Doesn't have plasma yet. He's going to want that. Yeah, I'd always say to do this full room farm once, maybe twice, and then save. Oh! Gonna get the major here. This was, I forget. Morph bombs. Yep, getting the forgettable major. Very nice. Kale's not gonna have the energy to get the BT, to get to BT. You can farm the right side Metroids until you get enough. And I think that's what you're supposed to do in this situation. But getting big energy drops on every Metroid is pretty helpful. That's why it's nice to be full ammo. If you're full ammo in a farm seed, then you're gonna get better health drops. And it's pretty significant time difference. I don't know why he's trying to avoid the sand so much. But anyway. Here to collect space jump. As Homewrecker picks up plasma once again. As I said, about 150 to run down Speed Hall. Gonna see him get a little bit more. If you're gonna reset the room, you would use the lower door. You lose at least 10 energy walking into and out of a heated room. There you go. This Metroid looks trapped. You're free. Now die. This Metroid is also trapped. Someone froze this Metroid. Logically, by the rule of the logic, you have to turn off gravity to do this ice clip. Wow. There's two ways to think about this BT room. Kale is going to be farming the drops, like the orbs that get thrown out. And to do that, BT needs to be... I mean, you need to be under 5 missiles. Okay, don't kill him too fast. The other way to approach this is to stay at 30 missiles, and then just kill BT right away with your beam. And then you will get about 300 health in drops. So... they had a smart plan, but they overthought it. Yeah, that's not going to get health drops. You can guarantee enough health drops if you go to health bomb range here. That'll be just the next level in overthinking this. You probably get enough, yeah. 200 health is plenty. And now I get to mark an objective done. Okay. So homewrecker gets the map. I don't know if he can survive getting back. You can farm the turtles, but there's not much over here. That's the menu room, Swiss cheese room. That's pretty bad. It'll get you health faster than the turtles. And then otherwise there's 2 X's. I like the revert here, but it's a bit of a trip to get your plasma back. But I think you do it. Unfortunately, didn't save with plasma. Took the time to get space jump and the BT kill, but then didn't save with plasma. Which was like 1 room above. I don't know if that's enough to critique over. Kalemega back in Torian. The only majors I remember are top and top left of Torian. So we'll see if anyone goes there. That's still a Ridley door. Do not want to go through the Ridley door. They can definitely get to the top major. The problem is getting out. At 3 tanks, I think that's about what you need for the GT fight. If you do the safe spot, get your double hits, and play it well. So we'll just have to wait and see when they decide that GT is a good option. But right now we're going to get the Mama Turtle item and whatever else is over here. This is one way. And the way back is either through Key Under Stairs or GT. Oh yeah. There's a major at bowling too. That one's speed locked. Homewrecker doesn't have the Brinstar map yet. This is the Fantoon region. You have to go through single chamber to get the Fantoon kill. And then ready is the other option. I feel like Kalemega has all the maps. Wait. How does this work? Huh. Going down first for the health refill. I suppose that's the safe play. But had the health to go up first. And let's see what we have. For a ring ball and a tank. The tank gonna be better value. Yeah, this is the type of seed where you want extra tanks, and in the 1v1, Kalemega's been up an E-tank this entire time. Well, you don't have to do crazy heat runs, but there's a lot of them. That lower path has to be better. Now I wonder what that door is. That room is. That Kalemega did a gate glitch to get around. This is a save. Farming to fill the reserve doesn't reveal which way they're taking out. The GT kill would make a lot of sense. Also, really you just need to know the safe spot and be able to get there fast. Homewrecker needs to keep energy high, because he has to run to the map and then out. So 2 more trips through heat rooms. This time it's smart to waste missiles. You need to back up. Okay, almost too much. That's good. Now it's a little... yeah, that was too much. With this wide a beam, plasma, you need to not miss shots. Oh no. Aw. But the biggest problem was taking that hit. But then also if you're missing shots, then that means you lose a second of damage time as you gotta charge up the next one. And it was getting really bad drops too. So there's a major there. Did we really not see that? Like there's a tank and a major. Unfortunately, Homewrecker already ran all the way over there. Wonder why that happened. Or did we have to do that for power bombs? Right. So they could have gone down and gotten a tank. Wait. That's the logical tank. Right. That's the logical tank. We found it. So Kale could be pause abusing or manually draining a reserve. But I think it's getting tight enough that you need all of that energy for the death explosion to survive until the drops come. This isn't a place where you want to be death looping. Really needs to not take the kickoff hit. Slightly back more. That's fine. I wonder if there's like delay. That quarter second of delay between the mentor. Or to the mentor. So he's like, back up just a little bit. Right after he does it. It's like, no. Yeah. This time the beam didn't jump there. Unfortunately got hit by the beak. Pretty rare. Yeah, it's a death. I want to say that was a frame perfect reset on the death. Maybe it wasn't frame perfect or anything. So over here might be the tank that Kalemega got early at Spore Spawn Supers. Soha could do the fight. Why can't you? No, it's too close this time. I think we've seen the fight enough that if you get hit, you just revert instantly. That was the major. Can't say I like the save at all. You're getting an E-tank and a major. You're not going to revert that. Right there. Okay. And this is where you would stand for the hard logic kill. If you're doing the very hard kill, you'd have to be a little bit closer. You want to shoot the flame balls, too. The speed booster. The balls that are on the ground after GT dies. Because you can still kill them for quite a while. Up until after their attack explosion ends. With Speed Booster, it's a good idea to get the bowling objective. It's on homewrecker's side. There's a high chance that it's Varia. Partially because there's only like 3 more checks. But also because it's super late in logic. The settings are that both suits are going to be sort of as late as possible. Like they're rolled to be as late as possible and then randomly shuffled, and then it depends on what kind of map we get. If it makes them do water rooms or heat rooms in a quantity that your E-tank can't keep up. But since we don't have Varia yet, it makes sense that this would be Varia here. And that'd be really good for homewrecker in the race. Unfortunately in Meridia... Oh, that's very weird. Coming out on the right side of Meridia. So that's the biggest thing that I want to see homewrecker do. Let's go down to bowling. We have this map. That's going to reveal just about everything. There's the ship. There's an E-tank on the way to the ship. And you can also do Acid Joza. That's a good plan. Do it, do it, do it. Do it, do it, do it. So Kale doing radio from the other side. Do it, do it, do it. No. Get the sandpit tank. They don't have spring ball. I don't know if that matters. Well, I know what I want to see. So Kale probably going to come over all the way over to the right to the map. And then I think about getting Acid Chose on the way back after Brinstar. So bowling Acid Chozo GT. You don't want to do Acid Chozo here so you don't have to come back later. But you can wait until after bowling and then you get various suit and do it easier. You want this E-Tank because you just want more E-Tanks for Mother Brain. You want a few safeties. Unfortunately, it's the left side. Could still be both, I guess. Yeah, logic says you IBJ this. Can be harder with high jump. And the jump morph is in very hard, I believe. You'd want to do a wall jump morph, which is in hard. Okay, does it well enough. Kale coming back. This might just be easier way to get the sand pit tank. Okay. If you're not getting sandpit tank, should have been a revert to the ship. Since I assume everyone saves when they get to the ship. Or wait, what's happening? Run back to the ship and then sandpit. Maybe a little mistake there. So Speed Booster is really far away. I think it's really close. A homewrecker gonna have a little bit of an easier time of things. But I think Kale's movement might be enough to catch up. Record just has to do the short trip to GT, where Kalemega has to go all the way to the right, like very far to the right for Speed Booster. I guess it doesn't have to. But only at 5 tanks. You need 2 more for Mother Brain, or 1 more for Mother Brain, and some safety. Yeah, that's how Kalemaga's looking at this position. Skip various suit entirely. Down. No, go down. Don't do it. A GT fight is something I really don't want to see here. Oh, they might be going to the top. There's also Lava Dive. We didn't see Lava Dive. I don't know what this save tells me. But you would go to bowling because it's a free major. If you come up to... What's over here? If you come up to above GT, then you're hoping that it's... Oh, they're going to bowling, just not the right way. Okay, I don't know where anything is. I think we even saw the Norfair map. That's where I thought it was. And got a good look at how nothing was there. Okay. Perfect routing from homewrecker. And Kale's in Brinstar after all. So you can get the major as well as the E-tank. I think you have to get the E-tank. Because Kale's kind of in a position where he doesn't need Varia. But the mother brain fight can go wrong. Still feels a little bad to come all the way to Brinstar and see Mother Brains here. Just to run all the way back. Yeah. I think this is Varia. Even knowing that Lava Dive is a major. Lava Dive is hard to be a logical Varia, I think. Yeah, Varia suit. Because Lava Dive you can reach one way a lot faster than you can return with it. And we had the items, the gravity space jump, for a while now. Yeah. Looking for Mother Brain? Either that or E-tanks. The 3 Musketeer tanks are still, like, fairly fast. There's 2 tanks right there if you need more safety. And then GT's right there. GT is just straight up. Don't have to look too hard for GT. And then Kalemega looking for... or needs to go over to bowling. Has speed booster. So we'll be able to get various suit right after bowling as well. But unfortunately, sitting right now at Mother Brain without all the objectives done. In the lower entrance. The lower path. Oh, that's interesting how everything just connects to Brinstar. You come out into Torian here, you're directly above bowling. So this should mean that Kale is ahead. Wrecker getting safety tanks? This looks like safety tanks. Yeah, at this point, Kalemega is closer to bowling than homewrecker is to GT. I just didn't realize how close this bowling was to Mother Brain. One tank. Don't need both tanks, only one tank. Welcome in, Junior-raters. This is Map Rando Mentor Tournament, where we have Homewrecker versus Kalemega. We're in the medium bracket, medium lower bracket, fighting for your tournament life. These two are. I know what's happening. If it's not energy tanks, then it would be can't ice Zeb skip, I would guess. So looking for X's. It's not really faster to be running around. Unless this is just a path that gets the GT faster. There was a path on this side. I don't know if we're following it correctly. This guy looks like the path to Lava Dive to me. But yeah, we're nearing the end of the seed. Kalemega has all the objectives done. Has kind of been leading. Homewrecker sort of pulled ahead on routing, like skipping some things that Kalemega did. Really collecting extra items here at the very end. With both suits, like this would have to be Mother Brain safety. Because the worst GT fight, you're not going to take like all that much damage as long as you're just shooting charge shots in his direction. I think if you stand and shoot at him, you get hit like twice. It's between 2 and 4 times. I don't remember. If you just stand there and shoot diagonal up shots. But Kalemega at the Mother Brain fight, it is right here. The ship is in a weird place. I don't know if it's obvious the path to the ship. I have a guess. But you two watching can get your guesses in on this escape timer. Oh, I didn't mark Varia. I assume they got Varia. Surely. I'll find out in just 2 moments. It'd be hard to not want to make that one major check. Speed skip. Nice, gets the speed skip. The hardest part of speed skip is like after the crash ends, jumping through the Zebutite. You have not many frames to pull that off. The Shine Spark part itself, you just have to do a diagonal Shine Spark from anywhere in the pit. So it's pretty trivial. In the past, Shine Spark skip has been hard because in the vanilla map, you have barely enough runway for the short charge. Most of the difficulty in the past has been the short charge. But now in Map Rando, you can really experience the skip. Okay, we're still fine. Took a few catch-ups. I would say the pause wasn't faster. But just because it was a slow pause. And only 1 tank worth of energy. I don't know. Okay, this escape. It's 1.5 minutes. A minute and a half. 2 minutes. So there's 2 possible routes for this escape. The ship's in Meridia. Now, you either go leftish to Torian and then to Meridia from the left, or you go far to the right and then enter Meridia directly. And I don't really know which way is better. I find it's harder to get a grasp of the map when commentating. So the choice is to go Torian first. Entering Meridia from the right makes you do quite a bit of Meridia, but it's overall fairly small. It's still medium multiplier, so I'm not too worried about the runners making the timer. I don't remember where this transition is, so I'm watching the minimap closely. We sure came quite a ways over through Torian to get to this Meridia. We have to go through at least 3 rooms to get to the ship. But this doesn't seem like the faster path. Done. Kalemega is done. By the looks of it, homewrecker is going to finish this out. Only has the escape to go, so that's fine. And no Zeb skip. So that means... yeah, it doesn't have enough projectiles. GG Kale. This is a best of 3. We're going to be playing all 3 back to back. Loading back in to game 2. This best of 3. So Kalemega and homewrecker are off in the race room. We're just waiting for everything to catch up here. And we'll see what we get in this seed. Should be nicer than the other one. Late Variasuit causes many issues. So should be nicer. In this seed, we start with Screw Attack and Speed Booster hand-chosen items by both of the runners. And those are good ones. A Screw Attack makes so many things easier. I don't know if that was a late start or not. But I'm going to switch audio. Refresh the page. Didn't have the option to switch audio without refreshing the page. So Kalemega up a game. Oh, gonna Speed Booster Shine Spark to get to this item. It's not in medium unless you have some kind of movement item to get up there. And then you run across the super block to check what is in the item hole. It is an X. X's tend to be nice. A lot of the time it's just a super. So super blocking a super. I wonder if you can buffer that. Like Shine Spark, you do the buffer turnaround and then shot to get the item. Because what I found when Shine Sparking up to this sky item, you can't do a buffered shot with basic beam. Like maybe if you position just right you could. Typically not. So I always have to wait until I'm falling. Yeah. It'd just be interesting to know. I would never do it. We have supers on the left, morph ball on the right. What was that? That was just the first door. Okay. So homewrecker gonna run into that pretty soon. Perhaps right now even. And then it would make a lot of sense if they both went back for the super block X. Just in case that's a power bomb. Okay, so Kale didn't have much trouble with the Shine Spark through Waterway. This is a tricky one. You're gonna see... It seems like everyone in Mentor Tournament does the spin jump method into midair spark. But that's a higher tech level than medium. You can do a regular horizontal Shine Spark here, which is you like do the Shine Spark wind up and then make it horizontal. And that works in the water. As expected, power bombs. I don't think homewrecker scouted this, but gonna get the power bombs anyway. You do not want to go down. Very important not to do that. Okay, it'll be fine. You know? We'll just focus on homewrecker for a bit. I wonder how you're supposed to get to the top right, though. You can watch Kale if you're interested in seeing how this develops. I'll be focusing on homewrecker. Oh, you probably go through the middle. That is what I suspect. There it is, space jump. So space jump's a good find. It really looks like Croc connects to this middle section, though. So I'm not sure how things really work. But in either case, getting space jump first is really helpful for a double chamber. Yeah. Space jump also gives you the upper checks in Bubble Mountain. The map makes it look like the middle part of West Ocean connects to Croc. And if that's how it is, I don't see how you get back up top. But there has to be a way. That is the rules of map building. We had a fairly early gravity last seed. Not before they had to do, like, tricky tricks. But we'll see just how late until we get the remaining powerful items. The items we have right now are pretty good. If Kale continues to get E-tanks, then he's gonna build the items that he needs to get out of here. Mother Brain. It's one hurdle after another. Okay, we found the way out. You have to Shine Spark. That means he can do it. Did reset the 1 E-tank on the far side of double chamber. Okay. Then homewrecker, just gonna stay here. Follow wave beam through Green Hill Zone. But after seeing the way back was through climb supers, might have thought about going down to Lower West Ocean. You just don't know what type of item would be down there that's worth getting. Right. Kale didn't go through the middle of West Ocean, and that's where Space Jump is. It's either going to dead end in the middle of West Ocean, as in have two dead ends on each side of the middle. But since you can see Croc pretty much connects to the bridge, and that means it has to go through. And the only room that goes through and has an item and is one tile is Gravity Room. So I suppose it could be a 2-tile room with an item, as far as Kale knows. Running into a lot of E-tanks. We're getting set up for another Never Varia seed. Yeah, I don't feel compelled to go through this green gate. I feel like it was Caterpillar Room on the other side. I didn't see the room. But based on the straight section of map on the mini-map. Pro tip, always look at the mini-map. I watch the mini-map almost more than I watch the main screen when playing these. Brain ball. Homewrecker's finding the items. Finding the goods. But yeah, the jump over across Bubble Mountain didn't look like it was logic to get to the top. So Kale is going to be checking the last thing that does look logical. Although at 2 tanks, I don't see why you couldn't do climb supers. And they have more. They've had more first. Not first, but from very early on they had morph. And just got Space Jump. I'm the tracker. I am Aussie 101, doing tracking and commentary for this series. How many majors can we fit on one piece of minimap? X-ray. Excellent combo, grapple and X-ray. Those are the majors that are not on the other tracker, because they show up on the HUD. This looks like... No. So you can springball out of this, but you have to do a max height springball jump. So hopefully Tickles and homewrecker are fine doing this. I think we're doing the stationary spin jump. I think we are talking through what homewrecker's gotten himself into. So stationary spin jump, you move forward and then stop and then jump. And that will, if you do it fast enough, it'll give you the spin jump, but you won't be moving forward. There it is. And then it won't look like you go high enough. That was spring ball. But you are You need to trust a little bit, especially with custom sprite. Crouch jump here. Fun fact, Speed Booster does nothing at all underwater without gravity suit. You're unable to get dash state, so Speed Booster cannot affect anything. Gets out. There it is. And then you just mash jump and you're up. This is one of those tricks very easy to learn and know. It takes a little bit of practice to get your first time. And then once you know what you're doing, all you do is mash jump. It's the kind of mash where you focus on the release being short rather than the press being fast. Like the number of presses being fast. So really you want to do kind of slower mashes. Jumping in the water too fast. That's something I've seen people do. Just try to jump really fast with space jump. But you gotta be very controlled when you're bouncing on the top of the water. And yeah, we have the same sprites as last time. Homewrecker is a clown at heart. Or maybe Tickles is. Hard to know. I'm just gonna commit to the clown life. Kalemega is a Metroid at heart and must be destroyed though. So that's just how it is. That's just lore. They can't go all these games about kill every Metroid and then change it just because Metroid suit. This really should be logic. So I'm gonna believe that this is logic, what Homewrecker is doing. You would springball jump up to the crab. I don't know what all that was about. Fumbling over his clown shoes, I'm sure. Going back up. Oh. So this room is the right height where you can just do a regular jump. And if you do a full height jump into a wall jump through the door, it will put you... like it'll give you a great gravity jump into the room. And you can just land up the top. Up on the mountain ledge. I guess Tickles is explaining how to get up here. Yeah, there's a springball jump. In hard, you'd be expected to crouch jump ledge grab onto the crab there, and then do another one to get onto the upper ledge. So you don't need springball. But with springball jumps, you don't have to position the crab at all. But in any case, the easiest way would be to do a full height jump into a gravity jump. And there's only very few rooms where you can do that without trying. Ledge grabbing does help on frozen enemies. Yeah, you push into them until you're high enough that you can down grab. You can do both things. And that's a death. Marker's route was looking pretty good too. But now we're almost tied. Wave, grapple, X-ray. And we'll see if they get ice or not. That's something that comes up in RBO a lot. Or maybe just the main street with high jump ice. Like if you're trying to climb onto a frozen fish, you want to push into it for a while and then ledge grab. But if you're not aware of that interaction, then you'll try to ledge grab a little early and then not have the height. Yeah, Kale gonna get the ice beam. Kale seems to have a stronger repertoire of tricks. There's also a few spots, like where homewrecker is, where the terrain goes up and down a little bit. And that can matter a tiny bit. Like there's some spots where you can do some jumps and other spots where you need to be in the raised terrain. But here it doesn't matter. It looks like we're gonna have a lot of trouble with this. Now that crab is going to unfreeze. Didn't get hit though. That's good. It gotta be fairly fast. Making it look hard. So now I gotta wonder if it's actually hard to do this. You can definitely get up with one springball jump, but if you have to set up another springball jump right after that to get to the upper ledge, does that make the trick like, hard? I think it's reasonable to expect them to. So homewrecker would have made that if he released jump, or if he did a down grab. Doesn't need to give run speed either. Okay, the morph helped in this case. Normally morphing is a little bit bad. And then with grapple, you swing over to the map. Yeah, homewrecker's been on this for a little bit too long. A little bit too long. Nope. You can do this with 2 springball jumps. What do we have at X-ray? Charge beam. Keeping that. Right. Like having to do ice beam with another thing, it puts a timer on your trick. Ooh, fell into the ouch bit. Yeah, menus really hurt. Like we don't like having harder variants of tricks on the same difficulty level that they're introduced. So a hard level runner you'd expect can do springball jumps on command. But at medium they're gonna be missing the springball jumps. So if you tell them springball jump plus timer, then that might not be right. But it still feels reasonable. It's more like extra safety options for something that you can do with not too much trouble. Swinging through the funhouse. Do we not have this map yet? Oh man. This is so much time in Everest. And that's why the mentees need practice. Do not have a way to the other major or the other major. So we're looking for gravity right here to do all that. Gravity is the only item that lets them get the other two here. If I were playing this, I'd also like see that the paths to the right aren't possible and like get this major that is very close before thinking any harder about it. But it's a very common style to take in all the information first and then make your play so you don't have to pause again. Probably hits the fish here. Okay. Was able to slide to the left. Don't hit the fish. Kill all fish. Kill all fish. There's also an ouch. Kill that too. There you go. Anti-gravity. Yeah, this seed, homewrecker has been going directly to where he needs to be. But took like 15 minutes in this Everest, it felt like. Maybe 10 minutes. Playing the seed so well. Yeah, you come up this way, the other major has a big heat run to it. So you at least need a health refill, and there is a health refill here, right in between the two X's above. And then on the path to the major is 2 more X's. Not enough missiles for Crystal Flash. Kale did the same thing. Grappled up to this ledge here. But from here you need to spring ball jump twice. So it's going to be somewhat slow compared to grappling all the way to the top right left. Had similar struggle gravity jumping into the room. But I cut out the entire frozen crab sequence. So I did this faster. The biggest thing happening in these races, even though it's a tournament, is all the practice that the runners are getting. It's like the biggest thing they need. It's just practice. You need to think about every room that you run into. Like every situation is different, so just get more experience. And then in these mentor races, the mentor will be helping you through it, sharing experience and wisdom. Spazer. Together we have Spazer. So Shack Tool, Cosine, Pants Room, and that's Rising Tide. With Space Screw, Rising Tide seems fine. There's also a save there if we really want it. Taking all this damage is pretty bad, though. It makes you feel dumb to have Screw attack and... Oh, right, Ice. How did Ice not get marked? Marker had Ice way earlier. To have all these great options for killing enemies and just keep missing. But it happens to everyone. No, I didn't get the 2 X's here either. Yeah, I think I was just focused on how homewrecker was going to get out of the watering hole. I didn't mark ice. They can definitely get the other major. And we know... So high jump, bombs, plasma, varia. A lot of those are pretty good. Without charge, plasma is not so great. But charge isn't very far away. Just power bombs. I like collecting extra missiles. Better than being short on missiles later. And there's a lot of uses for extra missiles. Once you have wave spacer, you can kill everything, so it's not like using missiles to get through rooms faster is an option anymore. Is needed anymore. That was spacer. But extra missiles are handy to have. I use them... Like the places I need a lot of missiles are going to be Dragon and Mother Brain. And sometimes Ridley. Okay. So they're going to take a save. Team Homewrecker tickles. This isn't really dangerous. Hitting the door is kind of bad. But it's no worse than hitting anything here in the room. It just loses seconds. Slight mistake from Team Kalemega Soha. They went and visited the sleepy robot. Just a tired little guy. Hasn't woken up yet. Low on energy these days. But I don't think we'll be back to see him again later when he's full of energy. So we'll visit Shack Tool. Shack Tool never runs out of energy. Can dig forever. He's optimized his digging pattern so perfectly. Just an endless loop of digging. Wow. Witness Shack Tool. No, look away. This isn't how it was supposed to end. Very suits the item. Very nice. This route from homewrecker looks so perfect. But lost all that time in Everest. Like, how do you pick a route that goes directly to both suits? Now, this charge beam, I think it was a little bit far away, and that's why I didn't get it sooner. In Rickship. But we probably... Well, I wonder how much Tickles wants it. Or how much Homewrecker wants it. And between the two, who wants charge more? I don't think it was through Kraid, no. I think Kale found Kraid first and then came up to Rickship, where all the majors were. That's everything. At 2520 ammo. That's pretty good for a lot of things. Kind of 2 zones in at this point. Since Homewrecker wasn't looking around the starting zone all that much. Yeah, I don't know the end game plan. It's just right there even. You have to get that. And then there's another mage farther behind Kraid. Another major. I guess it makes sense for Kale to want to get that before coming up here. It could have been the gravity suit, making all of Everest so much easier. It just didn't happen to be. And so the order is a little slightly better for homewrecker. Again, not screw attacking into the bomb block. That would have been a little bit faster and also wouldn't have raised the platform. So it's a single tile, but this one is above Samus. And that means you can touch it. When it's below Samus, like in Cathedral, then you can't spin jump into it. That is the rule of the physics engine. So now, a lot of time has passed, but this is maybe even a better time for the Kraid kill. And yeah, what are we doing next? Brinstar has a map over there on the left side of... A little bit of a messed up Brinstar. You have no way of crossing from the left and the right side because Mother Brain is in the middle. So that means you want to enter on the left and get the map over there. Leave the E-tanks behind. Okay. Handled the Kraid stand-up okay. Like, knew how to create the moment of weakness in Kraid and then capitalize with a super. Wrecker still has speed off. After so long. Hope they don't forget about it. They turned speed off to... It was when getting ice, actually, so that it wouldn't affect their jump height when doing the stationary spin jump. But speed underwater does not affect your jump height, and also you don't need to run when doing that, so that wouldn't affect your jump height either. The race now is dead tied. 35 minutes in. Kale takes the lead. Okay. Speed booster is back on. The speed booster unequipped is the difference in the entire race. We saw it here. And now... I think it makes too much sense to take this Brinster entrance instead of the other one. It has to. This has to be what you do. Even not being aware that the zone is hard locked with Mother Brain in the middle. So we'll see it when Kale gets the map. I suppose there could be an underground path, but it's unlikely. But mostly only unlikely because I said so. What is this? What? Likelihood rising. Now, there has to be a way out from single chamber. And since there's no left connectors in any of the rooms that we've been through, that means it has to go under Mother Brain and connect to some kind of hub to the right of West Ocean. Hide again. Yeah, homewrecker deciding to take the save right away. Okay, what is this map? This is a messed up Brinstar. You have to take a one-way down. Oh, that's the loop. Okay. We don't have Fantoon dead yet. Croc had a major the whole time. Norfair, Meridia. Have we seen Torian? I don't think we've seen Torian. Anyway, don't need the Croc major anymore. Croc will never be seen. There's this loop where you go up and then have to come back through bowling as your way around single chamber. And then there has to be another loop aside from that. Because Fantoon's not dead yet. And it might be through Meridia. Wait. I need someone to scroll their map to the far right. Anyway, I think we're okay. And this has to connect to Fantoon somewhere. But it had the possibility of having some kind of really weird loop that you had to pay close attention to something like that. Getting free items. Free items are, like, free random items are okay. Looking for energy tanks still. Medium runners are gonna tend to need extra E-tanks like we saw at the end of last race on homewrecker's side. Took a pretty sizable detour to get an extra 3 or 4 tanks at the very end. So extra tanks are going to be very welcome even now, 40 minutes in with both suits. Croc either has high jump or bombs. It's raining crabs. Kale showing off the tube clip. It's an easy trick to do. Fun party trick, show your friends. It's just like the classic magic trick where you go through glass. Walk right through a window. Deer Forest literally coded it. I think we're going to get a microwave. Does homewrecker know where he wants to stand for a microwave? It is a lot of buttons to press. That's something that's underexplained, is how to physically hold your controller or keyboard and press all the buttons. Okay. Keep Migs away from the building. Got it. Nice, nice, nice. 2 Dragon kills. Kale found Ridley, but also the map is right here. Wait, how? What's going on? Oh, right. The key stairs doesn't have a left door there. Duh. That's the piece I was missing. So it's either a Ridley locked map, or you have to go down through the left door. Or the down door and go left. You would take a save here if you think there's not enough E-tanks around the map to set you up to kill Ridley. Or if you want to go directly into Ridley, that's a good reason to save too. And then the other thing to watch is the sand pits. They tend to have good items. But usually you would take the down door of key stairs and expect that to go left. But it doesn't mean it has to. It does mean that it's not the Fantoon map. So you could also just leave. Yeah, leaving Norfair entirely would be okay. You'd expect to get a couple E-tanks on the way to Fantoon. And then hope that Fantoon isn't next to the right side of Meridia. It looks like this doesn't work. Yeah, Kale's doing the right thing to get grabbed. Here, I'll take this time to fix his audio. There. As we get the map, which was right behind Ridley. There's a major. And an E-tank. It's not a very value major, but high jump is very nice to have. And do you want to come this way anyway for the tank? Fortunately bombs. That means Croc has the high jump boots. Oh yeah, I have to track that. You really want that tank. If you were playing to... Well... I think it's something more commonly seen in Link to the Past. Where you can skip a heart container early on because you know that others are going to be in your path. But right now we're pretty late in the seed. And it's hard for another tank to be that in your path. And then also I'm expecting the runners to want more than exactly 3 tanks to finish the game. Yes. We could get high jump before Everest. Okay, it's a tank on the left, tank right here. Homewrecker could try for his super pack here. Spore Spawn takes 1 shot with this beam. However, the shell is invulnerable and will block the beam. One shot. We're just looking for Fantoon, which should be here in Meridia, but I also don't think we've been to Torian. It does get hard to remember. This is the type of layout where I think it's fine to clear Meridia before Norfair. But getting out of Norfair is kind of slow. Plus, Norfair had decent item spread. Thinking about the Ridley fight. I think that is in the plan, this Ridley fight. You get the 2 close tanks. And then give it a try. Climb feels so bad till you invest the hours of practice to be able to do it well. But it's just always going to be there. Just a room that's annoying to get through. Yeah, if this were high jump, that would help with those jumps up through Main Street. It is supers. Oh yeah. Homewrecker also can't Zeb skip. Doesn't know. Or chose not to last race anyway. So extra supers are going to be helpful. That moonfall not worth. You need a moonfall to be fairly big. Let's say at least a screen and a half, but even that much I wouldn't go for. So probably something like 2 screens worth if you had a bad entry into the room. Maybe 2.5 screens to like stop your movement and then do a moonfall. Okay, here's the Ridley fight. 25 supers means... Ooh. Gotta be careful jumping around in the Ridley fight. He's gonna do random things if you jump too much. Didn't quite get the manip. And that one wasn't a spin jump. But on the rerolls, we're getting more pogos. So that's nice. There you go. There's a minute. Now the plan is to turn Ridley red and then shoot 15 supers. I kind of open with charge shots to get closer anyway. But when you have full beam, you don't need to think too hard about it either. It's only about 4 shots and then all of your supers in this fight. A little bit far to the right. There's a couple bots that are much harder with custom sprite, and this is one of them. GT's another one. You gotta dodge this. Okay. Ridley always swoops high the first time, and then after that it's... you can't duck under it. This isn't looking too promising. Don't get attached. No one get attached to this run. No. Yeah, I don't think we had a good save either. So yeah, the problem was Ridley wasn't really... Homewrecker wasn't doing damage to Ridley. Spent a lot of the time trying to set up Ridley's position to be able to like avoid damage and then be able to safely counterattack. But a number of those were expecting swoops and then not getting them. Kept trying to spin jump through a swoop, but instead it was something like a pogo or a dive. And then that caused Ridley to just be random with all the jumping. And then also wasn't positioning like quite well enough on the pogo. Like when would he get the left side pogos for damage? And then another thing was it wasn't fast enough to start doing damage. Like Homewrecker had to get into the position, crouch down, press all the buttons. And then by that point, Ridley would fly away. In my RBO strat for Ridley, I open with all the supers right away. So that Ridley is moving faster. Like I have to turn him red with supers intentionally. So he's moving faster, and that way you can predict the pogos better, and also get more shots in per pogo. Because if he's going too slow, then it's less clear how many bounces you're going to get from a pogo and when he'll decide to fly off. And you also need him to be moving faster to get in position sooner, too. I see a Torian. That's kind of extending the seed for no reason. I think we're all ready to see the end of this one. The baby. Kale gonna beat the seed on 2 tanks. By the looks of it. You'll get the 3 tanks over in Big Pink. There you go. Links to the runners' Twitch pages. If you want to give them a follow, they'll appreciate it. They're going to continue improving at the map Rando. Whomever wins this next race and stays in the tournament will continue getting restreams. The other will be out of the tournament. But probably keeps playing the game. Who knows? Yeah, best of 3. This is the last chance part of the bracket. Kalemega already up a game. And pretty strongly favored in this one too. All he needs is Fantoon. They're both heading towards Fantoon, but Homewrecker behind and does not have a Ridley kill. There's the ship. We did get the ship out of this trip. Is Fantoon at the ship? I don't know. Okay. Sometimes it happens. Reset. Revert. Continues at the ship. Kale, please. Kale, please. It's the last map. Yeah, final objective. This is game 2, we're playing item draft. This was Kale's choice. The starting items were speed and screw attack. The seed started with homewrecker having a very, very strong route. Kalemega started, but going down, it looked at the time like a soft lock, but I think it was okay to go down West Ocean. Would have been slightly tricky to get back up through climb supers. But there were E-tanks down there, so it would have been fine. Kale really only got one tank. Okay. But Kale lost a lot of time early on resetting and didn't expect the middle of West Ocean, like the bridge section, to have the progression. And so homewrecker got a sizable lead off of that and also just blinded the correct way. But then homewrecker lost a large amount of time to Everest. And then also losing a large amount of time to Ridley. And that's sort of the entire lead. This Meridia clear might be slower too. I wasn't following pretty much at all. Not particularly important how they go through these areas. But this is not a connector to the map. Oh wait, how do you get that map? What is this map? This map makes no sense. Homewrecker reset bombs by dying. Yeah. I guess Kale just spent a long time here too. He spent all this time in Meridia, and it's not even Fantoon map. It's a left map. It jerks you around. Just like the Fantoon map would. But no. Careful! 1 energy. Baby's nice enough to leave you at 1 energy. Get the tank! Tank? Yeah, smart routing. Congratulations on your reserve tank. The other one, but now the power's on. And we do know that West Ocean is an E-tank, but we're coming from below. Actually, you have to go around. You either have to go far left and then up and then down bowling. Does that work? I'm not sure that works. Or you have to go to the far right through climb supers. Try and spark up. So you're gonna need a Oh, there's a health refill. You're gonna need a good chunk of health for this. Always watch the minimap. There you go. Yeah, not breaking the Zebs, so you don't need full supers anymore. They don't really save the time of jumping over the refill station and refilling. You tank. Homewrecker went and collected about 8 or 9 tanks just for the Mother Brain fight last suit. That was with both suits. So I'm sure he's happy to be getting all these E-tanks. And then still has to go back for Ridley. Now's not the time for Ridley. Just with how the junction looked. So how do you get to Mother Brain? I'd have to look at this map somewhere. You have to go all the way to the right, right? Through Lava Dive and then up, climb supers. No, you don't. You can turn back. Yeah. So this all was possible to do earlier on, but aside from the E-tank, there's not really anything here. Let's see. This is the final race of Losers Round 2. So Kalemega 10 seed, homewrecker 13 seed. Winner goes on to face Dear Samus Mommy, daughter of the Chozo. I'm not sure if the Relic Dear Samus Mommy race was actually played. They couldn't find a time that was accommodating. But that's what is up next in the bracket. I have a bracket command. Yeah, we're getting well into the bracket stage of the tournament. Bracket stage always front loads all the races, so everything's happening. And then over the weeks, you get fewer and fewer and fewer until you wonder where the tournament went. So don't lose track of your schedule. All the races are going to be on the schedule. I find that they're not really on the schedule too long. I think it's scheduled like 2 or 3 days ahead and then raced. So here's Kalemega into the Mother Brain fight. With full beam, it's not too bad. Usually what happens, you get the meatball, and that buffers the red beam, the ketchup. So you know it's coming. You dodge both attacks at the same time, and then as long as you keep shooting, you don't get a second one. Damage down a little bit. Homewrecker finding Phantoon here. Also knew that this was the last map. Tickles, come on. Tickle's not providing good enough guidance. 225. I was worried about this. There's the animals. At least we got to see the animal icon. Now, I would think that you'd want to enter from the right meridia. But you have to go all the way back through Meridia and Torian. It's fairly far. As shown in the escape timer. Homewrecker not going for a microwave. Charge shots are pretty strong too. You can do a pretty simple 2-round, like without any Dopplers, if you have full beam. It looks like we're getting a 3-round. You'd have to do the full 2+2 and then charge shot for that. Oh no. Going through the unexplored territory. Dodging the missile. Nice time save. Over yoink room. How does it always happen? Batu tank on the path to the ship. Yeah. So just up the elevator, up another room, and then you're at the ship. Very small Torian. It looks like we're gonna have a good amount of time left over once again. Excellent. Shot off all that ammo. Well done, Kalemega. Taking the win. GG. And then Homewrecker hasn't noticed the done yet. But whenever that happens, I expect to see it forfeit. Then we'll get him in here. Kalemega winning the best of 3. Going to continue on in the tournament. We also need to figure out how to get mentors in here. Not a streamlined process, sadly. Soha found a way. Broke in. Yeah, copy pasting the mentor link or the commentary invite link. Pretty good plan. Homewrecker at 6+2, it looks like. Gonna run all the way back to Ridley. Welcome in Kale and Soha. GG.
GG.
Hello, GG's.
Yeah, well
But
done.
they're still playing it out.
Yeah, it looks that way. Still have some more game to play, so I don't know if they just haven't noticed or enjoy Super Metroid.
I mean, we all do.
Yeah,
Even
that's
if
why
we
we're here, right?
curse it sometimes.
Oh. So yeah, how you feeling? Feel like you played well?
The first seed was something special. That's for sure. I'm not super familiar with like running chozos or anything other than bosses, really. But like, it felt really bad, like an hour and a half. What
Well,
was it, like an hour before we finished?
yeah,
Something like
just
that?
the start of the seed was a pretty struggle for both sides. Getting to that morph ball at
Oh,
the
right, yeah.
fireplace.
Yeah, the Fireflies.
Yeah. I've come across that once in a just like some random medium random I've played before, where like I had to go down Fireflies to get Varia, go back up Fireflies to like go through heated room, like the starting room was just to the right of Fireflies, top right door.
Yeah.
And I don't think I ever completed that. I think I just especially at the time I was like, I don't know how on earth you're supposed to do this like with nothing, but at least we had supers this time, so I was able to kind of mitigate the initial boulder.
Yeah,
But
the
it still
boulder
took-
and fireball stuff you could deal with. You had screw, ice, and supers. But then the firefly part, I think you need a knee tank, and there's one over by power bombs. I was
Okay, we
thinking
were
that that
we were
was the
looking
logic.
for an E-tank because I remember saying like that we probably should want an E-tank before we were doing really, but
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then just, like,
Logically, I think you need an e-tank. It's one of many rooms that's good to know how to damage boost across it and do it in like no damage.
I was
Well,
I was actually looking at the Super Metroid wiki and was like, how much damage do the Funes do? And it's like,
a
oh,
lot.
no, it actually says that, oh, it's 10-5 too. It's like, what? No, that what? They hurt so bad. It can't be that, huh?
Okay, that would be the contact damage then. If you go inside them.
Oh, that could be it. Yeah. Wait, so that means there's a fireball entrance by itself on the wiki? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Only
but
trust
yeah.
Funtune for numbers like that.
couldn't
But
really
yeah.
debate.
Oh, that first seed was a sludge. Like, we were just hoping by after an hour in that Varia was just at a really bad place because there was no way we left it behind in somewhere more accessible. We did that very, very out of logic because like not out of logic, but we kind of just decided to ignore a bunch of stuff because wow, everything was so spread apart.
I think the big thing was there are a lot of E-tanks that were kind of behind heat, so where they'd be pretty risky to go for early.
Right. There's a lot there. There are also a lot of miners in Norfair that you just entirely left behind. And there was a funny looking loop that would let you get a lot of those. But throughout most of the first seed, I think homewrecker had one less E-tank than you for like all of it.
Oh, yikes.
You had an interesting strategy early on I wanted to ask about, and that is reverting back to your spawn, like, save point to look around.
Oh yeah, because we found morph pretty early, right? Or we found like screw attack and supers early, I think. No, we started with screw attack. This was the second seed?
The first seed.
First seed? That was mostly Soha's idea, I think, because he was like, okay, well, we found, I think
we had found an item, I think,
and something else. I don't remember what the kind of initial.
Yeah, the first major was ice, and we found supers, and then we found a save, and it was like, okay, we can revert back and check the right door and see what we have there, like if it's anything interesting. And then also the same for the left, which was Terminator into a Happy. We found wave there, and was like, okay, there's wave here, but we can't go back. It's not in logic. I mean, the crossroom jump is fine, but it's whatever. But yeah, it was pretty much me saying, oh, we could do that. We could double revert back just to look around because that, if I remember, that map station was bad. Oh yeah, it was Fantune. It was bad to get to, and it was in single chamber as well. So, a little bit of info.
Looks like homewrecker's having a bit of trouble with the invite.
Okay. What if that means it doesn't have his Discord
I can
ID?
just send him my link, right?
Yeah, your link would work.
All right. So hopefully they'll be joining us shortly.
Yep, that'd be great.
Yeah, it was quite the novelty. Just kind of like, well, blinding Ridley, and I'm like, okay, well, I had 2 tanks, but I was like missing some health. I was like, oh, I want to farm first, and then I blind right into Dracon, right on the other side of the elevator, and I was like, oh well, I guess I'll farm on Dragon.
Yeah, it's really funny how you both ran to Dragon from opposite doors at the same time.
Oh, that happened. Cool.
Yeah, yeah, you went down and they went top door out of Canada room.
Oh, but it was so mean because it was like this stupid loop. We just wanted to get to the map, and it was. Oh wait, it's there's red key hunter shafts on the way. You can't get to the map, and then we go up, and there's both bosses there. Man, sure.
Had him briefly.
Oh, up there they are. Hello.
Yeah, there.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome in, GG's.
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 That seed
So?
was way more fun than the first one.
Yeah, true. That first seed was, oh man, the true grief of that Chozos can inflict upon someone. I guess I had no idea. I didn't know what I was in for.
Yeah, pretty much. No, this seed looked like at the start, homewrecker had just something like a perfect route, going straight to both the suits, but then had some struggles in a couple of rooms. Lost.
And then that
all the lead.
death on Ridley was also not great.
Yeah, even going around Ridley was a lot of extra exploring.
What'd you fight Ridley with? I think I had
we
full
went in
beam.
there-
I had full beam and like 2 tanks and
Is full beam and 2 tanks, yeah. But like, I mean, I came into this tournament like not completely new, but basically new. So I know how to do strategies on Ridley. I have trouble just surviving with him sometimes, and I just kind of lost focus on that fight, and so ended up dying when I had him like, ready to go.
yeah, E-tanks felt pretty sparse. Like, well, there were tons of E-tanks on the map, but they were like, oh, you want this E-tank? Just go to 3 Musketeers or whatever. And then go through Lava Dive, and there's 2 E-tanks, I think.
That was in a first seed, yeah.
Was that the first seed? Okay, maybe it was
that
just
was the
both.
first seed.
They're melting together in my brain.
Yeah, this one had a bunch in Meridia and like Pink Bren. That's where I ended up picking up a bunch. Like eventually, but that was after Ridley.
Yeah, that's basically where we
After
lost our
dying
time. Is we were just looking at Ridley with 2 tanks and like thinking it's probably not a good idea to give that a shot. So the only tanks you could collect were like on the left side of Ridley. So you had to kind of loop around, and then like going all the way back to then save that would be an immense amount of time. So we kind of just YOLO'd and said we'd give it a shot with those resources. But then we kind of were forced to just leave and go find Fantoon and collect a bunch of E-tanks and come back, which obviously lost us a lot of time. But I think like up to that point, things were going pretty well. Asi, do you know the logic? Was that in medium what we did in Everest, or were we supposed to like go find high jump in Bryn or something?
So high jump would be at Croc, is what it
Yeah.
looked like.
I was
So you had charge.
on the way. I was like, high jump? Nope, it's speed. No, it's bombs. Oh no, it's
Okay.
something.
So logic is probably to get charge right before criteria, go back, kill Croc to get high jump, and then go do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I would guess.
Yeah, that'd certainly be possible. It made sense to me that you could freeze the crab and then spring ball onto it
Yeah.
and grapple after that. But I'm not sure entirely.
We got space jump relatively early, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Super
your
early,
solution to Bubble Mountain. Yeah.
'Cause
It took you guys a while to get space jump, though. You were exploring bottom of West Ocean and resetting.
We just wanted to see if we could get to that map. And it was like, oh, no, the mother brain
yeah,
instead.
and then we saw it was just completely. It was blocked off by Mother Brain from that direction or from that door, and it's like, oh, excellent, great.
I told home like I bet you space jump is like in between Croc and or ice or something so we can get up. And then I'm like, okay, we got this. We were just gonna go look for another zone. We actually never got Bryn Map. So
Oh,
we just left.
Oh, I want to.
Did you get to Meridia or Norfair from or Parlor from Meridia?
I can't remember how we brought it. I think like Wreck Ship had like on the left side you could go down to like the lower zones.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got to the map from the other wreck ship entrance.
Yeah.
Which-
Oh,
so
so
yeah.
I guess we did grab Bryn
Mhm.
Map, but like
Yeah.
we didn't like. What I mean is like we didn't try for it at the beginning at all. We kind of just like fell into it, trying to find Norfair and Meridia and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I want to ask you guys, like, at what point? Because I had a point, if at all, if it happened to you, where you went to Wreck Ship and Criteria, and you were somewhere around Brand going to, was like, oh, there's Norfair and Meridia there. We should go there, and we gotta look for Fantoon, and go like, wait, where's Turian?
We did
Yeah,
at one
so-
point. I remember talking about that. We were like, "Wait, have we seen Turian at all?" No.
Yeah, so we actually did Norfair first because the thought process was like, let's say Torian has literally nothing. So you go to Meridia, you find like a couple bosses, and then you keep going to Torian to find nothing. Whereas Norfair, like since it's the lowest zone, is most likely not to lead to any other zones. So if you do Norfair first, it might save you from going to Torian entirely. So I thought it made sense to go Norfair first.
Yeah. So my worry was that I just overlooked Turian completely because usually it's connected to the higher zones. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh no, did we overlook it? I was just thinking, oh, we overlooked it. There's no way, man. But no, it was right there in Meridia, and it's just such a stupid zone. Like, what the hell is that?
I think that is literally the smallest zone I've ever seen in Map Rando.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically a straight line that like are like just one tiles that like loops in a like a
It's
square
10 room. It's
back
10 room.
to the ship, and that's it. It's like,
Its only job is to put its tile as high as possible for high
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, it's just reaching up. So technically depth. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we kind of did the same thing. Like, well, we went to wreck ship into Norfair. Like we got the map in Brinstar, and like, okay, yeah, we went to Norfair. I was feeling pretty good leaving Norfair from like, because we blind Ridley, and then I turn around and blind into Dragon, and then with the health I get off of Dragon, I just go fight Ridley.
Did you get end map?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We
I
got
thought maybe
North-
you blinded and you like concluded Fantine wasn't there and you just left, which would be
Well,
pretty
we got
giga
the map after both boss kills.
Okay.
You can
it
see
was like
Fantoon's
Ridley.
not there.
Yeah, because it was right next to Red Key Hunter, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I remember saying to Soha, I was like, we could probably just leave and not even get the map, which there's risk involved. But he's like, oh, we still need the ship. Yeah, okay, we do still kind of need to know where the ship is.
yeah,
I
we were
had
kind
a-
of in a similar situation.
I had a thought here where you could leave the Ridley if you really wanted resources and do Meridia, just bail on Norfair, and look for the Fantoon kill. And I think the layout works out decently well for that.
Yeah,
Instead of-
maybe that would have been the better play for us, was to just like instantly reset back to that save as soon as we saw Ridley was there, and that Fantoon was not. But I mean, I just didn't want to leave it behind. But yeah, maybe that wasn't the right call. It probably would have been pretty fast
Yeah.
to just bail.
There's no way to know. It could have
Yeah.
been a terrible Meridia.
Well, the map was
Yeah.
terrible.
Oh
That
my
it was.
gosh.
The Meridian map
Oh my
was
gosh.
Oh yeah.
it was a map rando special type of map location, bro. It was so awful, and then it wasn't for nothing. It wasn't for nothing because it showed us Torian, but I was so ready to kidding.
Yeah, we got baited quite a few times, as I'm sure you did.
Yeah, as soon as we realized it was just a straight line from like the bottom of Big Pink, we're like, oh, Fantine's not here. No.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
gotta do it
whatever.
anyway, because guess what? You don't know where Torian is, so.
Yeah. When I saw and we also need to know where ship is, so I was like, oh, we need to find ships. You just get the map, but God, it was so bad. When I saw Thread the Needle, I was like, oh no, this connects to the map, man.
Yeah, I literally said to homewrecker, like, hey, we should get the map just so we know where the ship is. And then, like, the next room is the ship. I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
That's the zone.
Yeah.
Terrain. Weird terrain.
Very.
But yeah, I think that other than this, the first seed was very, I don't know. The first seed was just pretty much thinking, where the hell was everything in the first place? We did GT with, was
yeah.
it
We
4?
didn't have Varia. It was something like 4 or 5. I think it was 4 plus
I think-
1.
Yeah, I
Did
think
GT?
4 plus 1. Yeah.
With like full beam, or was it full beam?
Yeah, it was full beam. I mean, you had ice off.
I
but
might
it
not
was
have had
full beam.
ice on. I think I turned ice off so we could like. There was a lot of heated hell running just in that first seed, and like
Yeah.
farming. What's the heated room with the? There's like the farm and the 2 seahorses. It's like a 6 tile long room or something.
It's
like
Lava Pool Farm, I think.
Yeah, I think that room is why I turned off ice, because I was like, it's super slow. So I have to shoot them twice to farm them while I'm also melting.
Yeah, we had to. Oh, go on.
I feel like it was your GT attempts where you took a couple of depths where
We did.
homewrecker like just sort of pulled ahead on route because it ended up being faster to Varia in the end. Had a cleaner looking route from Brinstar to Meridia and then back.
Yeah, I
so
definitely
it turned into a close race for sure.
Yeah, because we were like fixing to be like 4 minutes apart, something like that.
Yeah, after bowling, homewrecker went like on a big detour for E-tanks, but before that point, you were really together.
Yeah, I was definitely worried about survivability, like on the brain fight. So I told Tickles I'd like at least 6 or something like that.
I did actually almost die in weather brain at first.
Yeah.
And I caught the high fructose corn syrup ketchup. Samus's blood sugar levels skyrocketed, but we pulled through.
Oh no, not the ultra processed ketchup.
Diabetes blast.
Yeah, we didn't need the emergency insulin or anything, but yeah, well, that was pretty close. But on the second, I didn't on the second seed for Mother Brain, and I was like, "Where's the save? There's no save." Well, just don't die, I guess. Let's go.
Yeah, good luck, Buckle.
I pulled it off, thankfully.
Yep, it's good. Good showing from both of you. Good race.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to like know like how do you route a seed like that first one? Because I was kind of bewildered for a lot of it.
Yeah, it's hard because if you ask anyone who's like good at routing, then like just get the morph ball like without any trouble.
Yeah.
Just get morph ball 5 head. Just get Varia 6 head, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's simple.
So it's hard to know how you actually route it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just tough because like going to C and going to N seemed like such good ideas, but they were both just completely empty. And then T like was tempting to try to navigate, but was pretty messed up. Like Bryn was kind of had a weird Fantine map and also like sparse energy and missiles. And I was convinced for a long time that Varia was an M. And when we got to M and there was like basically nothing there, we were pretty confused. And then we kind of concluded, okay, like Varia literally has to be bowling. And then we were luckily we had just like enough E tanks pretty much to do acid chozo while we were in M, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was definitely like a feels bad. Like, oh, we got the N map, nothing. Oh, we got the C map, nothing. Like, what do you want from me, Seed? Kind of feel.
Yeah, well, you got to go to the far right of Bryn Star and loop up so you can get your after you've killed Fantoon, mind you, so you can get your speed booster. Then lets you do bowling and get your Varia, and I don't know. Then you do GT, I guess. But
yeah, so like the god route would be just to ignore C and N completely and just keep going left and right across the entire map several times until the seed's over, and with a pit stop in M. So
yeah, don't let certain other well-known random runners hear you say that's how you routed and won the seed. They'll have a conniption, bro. Legendary crash outs.
Well,
Just
oh,
ignore them.
you wait to see? Huh? Why did you do that? Well,
I feel like I've heard this somewhere, but I can't remember where.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, GG's homewrecker was a pleasure playing against you.
Yeah, GG's. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Going
I'll
forward.
do what I can. There's a lot of killers out here though, so I gotta stop just going on. I have a bad tendency to just go on like cruise control autopilot and just be running, not thinking. So I really gotta call that. Oof. So I was trying to rein me in. You managed to do it pretty well though.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks to both of the mentors here for coming in, walking the mentees through the races, in this race and all the other races in the tournament.
Yeah, thanks a lot to everybody that's stepped in to mentor for me, especially Tickles, who I specifically asked to do for this race, and he obliged. Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
And shout out to Soha who swooped in like 2 hours before and was like, okay, I'll mentor you. Because I was like starting to panic. I was like, oh, well, yikes. I might have waited too long to start messaging people. I really appreciate you stepping in.
You're welcome.
Yeah, mentor schedule is tough with all these races going on. So any closing words before I close this out, the stream out?
Never pick Chozo seeds again.
That was my idea. I like making people suffer. I'm sorry. Like I'm just
Oh,
like
gosh.
I'm like with Acid Chozo and Golden Teresa, like they'll be forced to get Varia or die doing goofy stuff. Like this is the perfect plan.
To be honest, me personally, I'm the victim of mini bosses because I've got eliminated from the tournament because of mini bosses. So yeah.
Hey, that happened to me too.
Yeah, get that out of here. I don't want any of that.
Yeah, I guess I do have one question about just why ban bombs. I'm curious.
What were we thinking at the time?
That's what I want to know.
I don't know, because we immediately regretted it because you
Yeah, we did
you
immediately
pick
regret
speed and ban space, which we're like, oh no, like we need a can fly now in case like Kalemega can like do like badass short charges or whatever. And we're like, okay, we'll just pick bombs. Like at least that's a can fly. I'm like, wait, we banned that. Like, why did we ban that? I don't know why we came to that conclusion. But we felt like we got outplayed there a little bit. So that was some good choices.
Yeah. I mean, we got bailed out by this item placement at least, but yeah.
That's true.
Alrighty. So, this has been the Mentor Tournament race between Kalemega and homewrecker. Kalemega going to be continuing on through the lower bracket. Homewrecker, unfortunately, out of the tournament. Done.
Yep.
That'll be it for tonight's Mentor Tournament races. We have more this week. Yeah, not tomorrow, but just this week in general. And then always keep an eye on the schedule. There's also the Map Rando Ammo Balance Tournament and also the weeklies. Lots of Super Metroid content all the time, nearly every day here on Speed Gaming. So subscribe to Speed Gaming and also all the runners that you watch on these restreams. It's a great idea. You won't regret it. And with that, we are done for tonight, and we'll see you next time. See you next mission. I'm out.
Yeah, see you next mission. Thank you, Aussie.
Good night, everyone.